Shit. You guys hear the music on TikTok? Do you guys hear the music right now? Christina, what's up, girl? We're getting ready to talk some NWA. You don't hear the music. Okay. Dominic Monsieur, what is your question? Merry Christmas, Christina. Happy New Year and all that good stuff. All right. Dominic, give me a question. All right, Dominic, I'm muting you for a little bit. Think about what you want to ask and then ask. Oh, ho, ho. All right, here we go. And
I'm building an alliance.
Will you join us?
It's showtime.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
You're not here, you missing out, because this show...
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, listen up.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
It's time for the Alliance Guys podcast.
what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Alliance Guys podcast. This is supposed to be the pre-party with J-Cal. I mean, I can run the audio again, but you guys know who I am and what I do and what time it is. What is up, Bobby Batito? Welcome. Haven't seen you on in a while. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. My name is J-Cal. This is the pre-party, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com. The pre-party. And every single week we come to you. This is like week, are we like week 51? Yeah, week 51. 52 weeks of the pre-party. That is phenomenal work. Hey, it's Soto, everybody. What's going on, Soto? Yeah, so 50 plus weeks of me talking about the NWA every Tuesday at this time, at this place. We are streaming live on YouTube, Kick, Twitch, and of course, TikTok. So TikTok, you don't stop. Merry Christmas Eve, says Soto. The full show, if you guys want to watch, we are on YouTube, youtube.com/The Alliance Blog. But you're also welcome to just hang out wherever you're at watching us and enjoy what we're going to talk about. And of course, what we're going to talk about today is our world's heavyweight champion, the Thrillbilly, Silas Mason, who's already just eaten up the entire professional wrestling scene. Now, I say that like tongue-in-cheek because obviously if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? Silas Mason is your world's heavyweight championship, and he's already taken that title out of the NWA, the safe confines of the power audience, and has now defended that title multiple times outside of the NWA. First and foremost, he won that title back on August 16th. And what's absolutely brutal about that is they didn't allow him to defend the title immediately when he won it. The way that the NWA is set up is that it's very kayfabe. but it also adheres to the television. So their TV is multiple months behind production. So if they record a show, it'll be a couple of months before that match will air on its weekly television show, which is on Roku Sports, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then the replay at 11 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, Pacific, it's just 3 hours, so 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. But you don't see that match until about 3 months after it's filmed. So when Silas Mason defeated Tom Latimer for the 10 pounds of gold back on August 16th, he won the title, but he didn't defend the title until September 5th on an NWA Power TV taping against JAC. Yeah, so we're live, baby. We're live. And then he defended the title a second time at the NWA Saw Win event that took place on October 17th in Atlanta, Georgia. So we'll probably be seeing that match within the next 2 weeks or so on Power. And then most recently for Wrestling Revolver, their holiday special, which you could see on Triller TV if you're a subscriber of Triller TV Plus, Silas Mason takes on Rich Swann, and during that pay-per-view, he defended the title, retained his championship, still your world's heavyweight champion. And I think that's pretty freaking cool. I think that's, I mean, look, would I like to see those title matches air on TV sooner? 100% we will. Willie Bowen already pointed out, check it out. Thrillbilly Silas Mason will defend on EPW next month. Yeah, absolutely, Willie. The second place he's defended it outside of the NWA. Also defended it for Joe Kazana Promotions. Actually, the day before he defended it for Wrestle Revolver. So there is a lot of world title matches coming to the NWA. When we see them, of course, that's the problem, the quandary, all of it. It takes forever to get those title matches out there, but I'm excited to see what's next for Silas Mason. And of course, being world's heavyweight champion is not going to be an easy task. As we mentioned before, and if you're new to the show, Silas Mason is the first homemade world's heavyweight champion for the NWA, where, Tom Latimer had spent he got to start with NXT in the United States. He's obviously a UK-based pro wrestler, but spent some time with NXT before going to TNA Wrestling and had a very good career as Bram with TNA Wrestling and wrestled for Pro Wrestling Noah, I believe, as well. Before making his debut in the National Wrestling Alliance. Of course, EC3 had his tenure with the TNA Wrestling before joining the WWE. And in fact, every single champion except for Cody Rhodes, not Cody Rhodes, Nick Aldis, every champion except for Nick Aldis had a cup of coffee or some time with the WWE before they became World Heavyweight Champion. Cody Rhodes, obviously, probably the most famous World Heavyweight Champion in the last 10 years. Nick Aldis cut his teeth in pro wrestling, both in the UK and then later TNA Wrestling is one of the big UK signings for TNA Wrestling. Carried the company for quite a few years as their World Heavyweight Champion before coming to the NWA, becoming the NWA World Champion, the first new World Champion of the Billy Corgan Lightning One era. And of course, Aldis set the blueprint of what a World's Heavyweight Champion should be for the National Wrestling Alliance, taking the title all over the United States, defending it in Canada, in Australia, in China. The first world champion to defend in China. Took the title to the UK. Obviously, lots of title matches in the United Kingdom, both in London and the UK and in Scotland. I even think he took the title to Poland, which is kind of obscure. But yeah, he did a lot of title defenses across the world. And then obviously the big title match he had with Cody Rhodes at the first All In pay-per-view really set the standard for big-time pro wrestling matches. Cody won that title, held the title for about a month before losing it back to Nick Aldis, who then lost the title to Trevor Murdoch about a year or two later about a year after the pandemic. Trevor Murdoch became world's heavyweight champion. Trevor would lose the title to Matt Cardona, again, WWE background. Cardona would get injured, And then Trevor Murdoch would win that title match in an elimination title match. He then would lose the title to Tyrus. Tyrus would then hold that title for nearly a year before losing it to EC3. EC3 would lose to Tom Latimer. Tom Latimer would lose to Thrillbilly Silas Mason just a few months ago. So the World Heavyweight Championship is really off to a good start again with Pro Wrestling Revolver. That is a promotion that doesn't typically feature NWA title matches. In fact, it was the first time the 10 pounds of gold had been in Dayton, Ohio in about 15 years. So it's a big victory. You know, Sami Callihan recognizing that Silas Mason would be good for business and bringing him in to wrestle against Rich Swann. I mean, that puts a lot in perspective, right? Because I didn't see Sami Callihan booking Tom Latimer. I didn't see Sami Callihan booking, EC3 or Tyrus. You know, he booked Thrillbilly Silas Mason, and there's could be a lot of reasons why. I don't know the reason why, but I feel like they did it because it made sense, and they felt like they could get value from Thrillbilly Silas Mason, which they obviously did because they did some pretty decent numbers, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Thrillbilly back at Wrestling Revolver. And of course, like our good friend Willie Bowen mentioned, EPW is next. I believe that match is going to take place in January. So a lot of fun stuff for the world's heavyweight champion. I do want to say hi and acknowledge the chat, because of course we're live on YouTube and TikTok and Twitch and Kick and all that good stuff. But this show is nothing without the people who watch it. Rick Del Santo's watching us on TikTok. Rick, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, love you, brother. Hope you heal up good. EBEDEE3 says, thought you was KO. I still get it. I'm still getting the KO. I can't run away from Kevin Owens talk. Willie Bowen has our joke of the week about Tyrus. Speaking of the former world's heavyweight champion, a rather large character, said, "Hi, J. Cal. Tyrus will be in the new Star Wars movie. He will be the Empire Star Destroyer that gets blasted by the Millennium Falcon." Nice. Big Cheese says, "What's up, Kev?" Cheese, my name is J. Cal. I'm not Kevin. Who is this Kevin you speak of? For my name is J. Cal, and I rep the Alliance blog. Bobby Petito's in the chat says, "I also subscribe to your YouTube channel." I appreciate that, Bobby. Thank you. And then our great friend, Hisa, says, "Howdy, we'll be driving as usual. I haven't followed Power much lately, to be honest." Hisa, I want to tell you this as nice as I can. You're not missing a lot. I still love the NWA, and I would love for it to be as big and bad and beautiful as it once was. It's sometimes hard to tell you that, hey, this is still the same NWA. It's not. But I whenever I feel like giving up on it, they do stuff that pulls me right back in. And Silas Mason, this world champion, I think is going to be a lot of fun. Certainly will give you some work with your website. Hisa does wrestling titles histories. A very, very useful website if you are like me and like to know about the history of pro wrestling. Having title matches documented, going back to the 1930s, maybe even before. I know at the World Heavyweight Championship, almost every single title match is documented. And great Hisa has spent countless hours and tireless amount of work to compile these lists that we are hopeful that we've helped out in getting some of those titles defenses for them, like the Blue Demon matches in Spain and in the UK. But to be perfectly honest, Hisa's site is so invaluable, and there's so much information. If you're an NWA fan or really just a fan of pro wrestling history, you have to check out his site. Let's see. Noob says Silas Mason is going places as the world's heavyweight champion, whereas Markova, well, she's globetrotting with the Burke and sometimes defending it. Hey, you know what, though? Even having the Burke and defending, one of the coolest things that Blue Demon Jr. did as world's heavyweight champion is that he took the title to Japan. Now, he didn't defend the title. He was in a special match where I believe he teamed up with Ultimo Dragon. Dirtbag, that would be Silas Mason, the Thrillbilly Silas Mason. He is If you're not familiar with Silas Mason, if you've never seen him wrestle before, picture the Freebirds. Picture Bam Bam Terry Gordy. But he's maybe in better shape than Terry Gordy and has a background with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and cuts a promo like Michael P.S. Hayes. Like, he's great on the mic and he's great in the ring, and I can't speak highly enough about Silas Mason. Now, going back to Markova, just her representing the NWA, even if she doesn't defend the Burke, but having that title with her, it just adds to the lore of that championship. Now, Camille had that title for nearly 2 years, or maybe closer to 3 years. And there was so much lore that she created by taking that belt and defending it everywhere. Kenzie Page did everything she could to live up to that. But even her run as women's world champion, like, she didn't get to go everywhere. She wrestled mostly for the NWA and promotions in the Southeast, but she didn't go everywhere. If Markova can go to new places with that title, and even if she doesn't defend the title, just, hey, that's the NWA Women's World Champion, that adds value to the belt. It adds value to the champion. And the next champion benefits off of that work by elevating the championship. So don't be sad if Markova doesn't defend in multiple promotions. If she's still carrying that belt with her and being recognized as the Women's World Champion, that's still very important to the lore of the title. Bobby says, I'd like to see Thrillbilly Silas Mason defend the 10 pounds of gold at Exodus Pro. That would be awesome. And there's a perfect competitor there for him. Hey, what's going on, Breeze World? Hope you're having a good Tuesday. And that's what a world's heavyweight champion and women's champion is supposed to do, according to Willie Bowen. Defending the 10 pounds of gold in different countries and territories. That's why I love NWA Pro Wrestling. Preach, Willie. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. One of the best things that EC3 did as world's heavyweight champion, besides beating Tyrus to win the belt, is that he took the title to All Japan, a place that the 10 pounds of gold hadn't been since 1989, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, 1989. Some of you are watching this and weren't even born yet. I think I was 9 years old. No, I was 11. Do the math, Jay. I was 11, 1989. My wife was like 3. It's good to hear, Breeze World. Yeah, so yes, anytime a world champion can get out there and put their face out in the world with whichever title they're holding. Like, Mike Mondo is doing such a good job with that right now, as Mondo is your national heavyweight champion. And Mondo, like, he also won the title in New York, but he's faced guys like Tyler Stevens. That was on TV. He wrestled Wrecking Ball Legursky, and he had a defense at UWF Christmas Brawl in Florida. It's not, UWF isn't an NWA sanctioned promotion, but being able to bring that belt there, maybe somebody sees Mike Mondo for the first time and sees that NWA National Championship, and now is like, whoa, wait a minute, that dude's a national champion in the NWA? What's that all about? Bree World, you ready for Christmas? That's cool. I'm dreading Christmas. Parker says, man, loved your match with Cody Rhodes. Thanks, Parker, but that wasn't me. That was Kevin Owens. I'm not Kevin Owens. I'm J Cal. Wiccan's in the chat. What's up, Wiccan? I hope you're doing well. Wiccan's my guy, man. I like Wiccan. Bobby, I'll check out your YouTube shorts later. Willie says NWA Pro Wrestling is the pinnacle of pro wrestling. Bobby asked the question, who would you like to see go after Markova's NWA World Women's Championship? That's a really good question. Outside of the NWA, I think is the real question you're asking me. I don't want to say anyone from the WWE or AEW, NXT, TNA, because I don't feel like that's realistic. So who on the independents would I like to see go after the title? And I mean, Big Mama we haven't seen Big Mama back in the NWA in a while. I feel like she would be a good choice to challenge Natalia Markova. I also think my friend of the show, hey, what's up, Couch Potato Wrestling? That's my guy right there. I think the next person I would like to see is my friend Reyes. I would love to see Ruby Reyes get a shot at the Burke. I feel like she is very good in the ring and would be a great challenge to that title. Evan Bourne, aka Matt Sydal, I think he's still wrestling for AEW. I haven't seen what's up with Matt Sydal for the moment. Matt Sydal, former NWA Midwest X Division champion, just in case you were wondering. Bobby was born in 2001. Bobby, I was a grown man already in 2001. Dirtbag says, who are the trucker ladies who do the Hong Kong thing? They were on TV at like 2 a.m. I think you're referring to Hollywood Haley J and Hollywood Haley J's mom, who were wrestling for WOW. I don't remember what their tag team name was. If Double D's in the chat, he might tell me who it was. That'd be interesting. Willie says Tiffany Nieves. I mean, Tiffany Nieves would be a great match for Markova, but we've already seen it. And that's not to say I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but I've seen it. And Double D is in the chat. He says, little sister Kylie. I would like to see Kylie have another match too. I would like to see Kylie eventually hold that title. But I not yet. I don't want the title to change hands yet. Bobby Petito says Allison Kay. That would be a good one. Bobby also says Heather Monroe. Heather Monroe would be a good one. Willie says, love Ruby. Ruby's my pal, man. I've known Reyes for quite some time. I met Reyes, super long time ago. But she's super cool. I remember the first time I saw Reyes, she was a manager for Tyler Bateman and Funny Bone, and I didn't like Reyes the first time I met her. She's really cool now, and I get it now. It all makes sense now. The Mother Truckers, Dirtbag. It was the Mother Truckers. But yeah, Freya the Slay is a good choice too, Willie. That would be a really good choice for Markova, because Freya the Slay isn't just a talented wrestler, but she's got size, so much size on Markova, and it would very much be like, David and Goliath, but with attractive women wrestlers. Big Rig Betty and Jesse Jones. Maybe that's what it is, Dirtbag. See, our fans over here at the Alliance blog on YouTube, they're very knowledgeable wrestling fans. The Mother Truckers. Vipress. Willie, did you see the video I posted of Vipress on the YouTube channel? I posted that, and I was immediately thinking of you. Like, the first person who's going to see this one is Willie. You should check out the shorts. You'll enjoy it. Yeah, Dirtbag, head on over to YouTube. YouTube.com/The Alliance blog. It's the same as my username right here on TikTok. Alex Gracia would be a good one too. And then shout out to my good friend Wrestle Rant for the heart me. I appreciate you, Wrestle Rant. Thank you, sir. Vipress, Willie, that's the other thing. I think Vipress might be heading to the NWA, Willie. I can't tell you with 100% certainty that Vipress is in the NWA, but I think Vipress is heading to the NWA, and I think she's going to team up with Serena Vale. Lana Cross is a good one. It's a lot of good choices, Willie. But yeah, in Markova, the thing is Markova is very talented, and she's going to have a lot on her plate to do in 26. All of the champions will, right? Thank you, Kai to Fly. You look like Kevin Owens. I get that a lot. There's going to be a lot to prove in 2026 for the NWA. You cannot rest on your laurels. Kenzie Page had an amazing campaign as Women's World Champion. Markova has very big shoes to fill. I don't feel like Markova is going to be outclassed. I feel like she could live up to that potential. But the thing, and I said this earlier on the live stream when we were talking on the first hour, is for all wrestling promotions, it's easy to book a world champion. All you need to do is put a title match and let it go. The real hard part is booking the undercard. But what makes a world champion successful and interesting and entertaining is the right dynamic. You need to find the right opponent. You need to find an opponent that can bring out something out of the champion and the challenger. You know, I look at a guy like Richard Holiday, and he has all the tools to be. He should be a WWE superstar. Richard Holiday. Now put Richard Holiday against Silas Mason. Dick Holiday versus Silas Mason. I think that would be a money. Bobby Petito agrees with me. Richard Holiday would be a great contender for Thrillbilly, Silas Mason, and the World's Heavyweight Championship. Double T says, hey, you look like Mick Foley 20 years ago with short hair. Thank you for that, Double D. I appreciate it. Jesus Christ. Kai says, who's your favorite wrestler? My favorite wrestler is Samoa Joe. I've been a Samoa Joe fan since about 2001, and he's constantly surprised me how good he is. And where he started to where he is now, it is night and day, and the guy is just phenomenal in the ring. If you don't like Samoa Joe, I think you're what's wrong with pro wrestling. That's just my opinion. Oops, we did that already. Okay, so we are getting ready for tonight's episode of Power, and we'll get through that in just a minute. I'm still taking your guys' questions. I still have a toy of Samoa Joe right here. Boom. Oh, you guys probably can't see that on TikTok. Sorry. You have to go to YouTube to see it. What does Billy Corgan know in regards to NWA history? I mean, does he know about the champions like Mike Thunder as NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion or Kevin Northcutt winning the Natty? No, there's absolutely no way in hell that Billy Corgan knows anything about Kevin Northcutt or Hot Stuff Hernandez or who are some of the other national champions. Now you got me. I gotta go and look at some of the old national champions. Sorry, we'll get to the other titles here momentarily, or excuse me, we'll get to tonight's Power momentarily. But the national champions. No, I don't think Billy Corgan knows much about the Tokyo Monster Kahagas or Damian Wayne or Jake Logan or Mustang Mike or John Saxon or Eric Andrews or Lou Marconi or Phil Monahan or Fordell Walker or Chance Prophet or Brandon Kay or Crusher Hansen or Corey Williams or Big Billy Douglas or Ricky Murdoch or Spider. But I am glad that you brought them up. I am glad that that's something that you decided to point out. No, he doesn't know that Doug Gilbert was a national champion or that Stevie Richards held the title for 63 days in 1998 or Salvatore Sincere or Nikita. Well, he probably knows about Nikita Koloff. I guarantee you he doesn't know who Big Slam is. But I think it's awesome that you brought it up, and I think that's really, really cool. Let's see. Yeah, so Patrick, I don't think he knows much about the history of the NWA. I don't think he cares much about the history of the NWA. And I just realized my camera is backwards this whole time. All right, well, what are you going to do about it? Nothing, I guess. It's usually flipped. No wonder it felt weird. All right, well. For those who asked, Seidel is still with AEW ROH, but he also wrestles for some independents. All right, cool. Thank you for letting us know that, Wiccan. Willie says, I wish Samoa Joe would have gotten a shot at the 10 pounds of gold. I wish Samoa Joe would have won the 10 pounds of gold. And there was a moment that they could have done it, and it would have made sense, and they never did. And it was literally the debut when they were on Fox Sports, and it's one of my favorite moments in the TNA NWA history when Samoa Joe, who has been undefeated, walking down with the X Division title, and Jeff Jarrett has just finished a promo And he's walking back, and Joe just looks at Jarrett, and Jarrett looks scared. And then Joe just kind of does the shrug to him as he walks to the ring. I wish they would have done that title match, and I wish Joe would have won the 10 pounds of gold. Joe did hold an NWA title years and years ago. It was the NWA International Tag Team titles that he won with Keiji Sakota. I believe he defeated, I want to say, Steve Corino and I'm not sure. Noob says Priscilla Kelly versus Markova for the NWA Women's title. Oh my God, Noob, no! If I'd have saw that, I would have pulled that up. Double D says, "What's on Power tonight?" We'll get to that in just a minute. I do want to answer the rest of your guys' questions. Corrigan only knows what's on Wikipedia. He says so right on that. He knows what he saw. He knows what, he might know the Jim Crockett era of the NWA, but he doesn't know the wilderness times or the dark times of the NWA. He certainly doesn't know pre-TNA NWA. Like, he just doesn't. I don't think he cares. My all-time tag team, the New Age Outlaws versus my current team, the Southern Six. That would be kind of interesting. I think we're talking about the New Age Outlaws in their prime, or at least, Road Dogg in his prime, because I think Billy Gunn's still in his prime. That dude looks amazing. Willie also points out that Terry Taylor was national champion, Jax Dane. Well, see, they knew Jax Dane was a national champion because they were familiar with Jax Dane, but they don't know much about anything else. No, Joe never got a shot at Pierce either. And I would have known because I was a big fan of Adam Pierce too. But yeah, what he said, he only knows what's on Wikipedia. Bobby Bettino says, what are your thoughts on Marty Bell as Exodus Pro Midwest champion? Perfect. Marty Bell's great. Marty Bell is underrated. And a lot of people looked at the tag team of the Hex with with Sienna. I don't know why I said that. With Sienna getting a lot of the favor. Sienna did was a former TNA Women's Champion or Impact Knockouts Champion, whatever it's called. Also a former NWA Women's World Champion. So she held the Women's World title too before it was the Burke. She was actually the first champion to have the Burke. But I think Marty Bell, is younger, and I think she's very entertaining in the ring. I feel like she doesn't get the credit she deserves. Forrest asks on TikTok if I am Kevin Owens. No, I'm not. Z says, I saw you in the crowd at the Cena match. Z, you keep busting my chops. You've been busting my chops for like 6 months now. I appreciate you, Z, if you're still in the chat. And I appreciate you, Forrest, if you're still in the chat. And King Leota says, why are you looking like Kevin Owens? I don't know, man. I woke up like this. I didn't choose to look like Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens chose to look like me. Sorry, I get heated. Oh, man. Still ain't as bad as Asuka. I get it, Double D. Always making me feel bad. Stone Mountain, yeah. I didn't name everybody, but I did name a lot of them. King Leonis, I'm not a wrestler, bro. I wrestled in high school, but that was like 30 years ago. Willie said, what happened to Willie Mack? And that's a great question too. So Willie Mack was under the Lucha Underground contract. Lucha Underground was on hiatus. They crowned Willie Mack national champion. He had a short run as national champion too. But then AAA started working with TNA, and essentially they leveraged him out of the NWA. Now, Willie Mack has had a lot of matches with AAA. I haven't seen Willie Mack in the AAA ring in some time. Definitely not since the WWE bought AAA, but he was a regular for AAA for quite some time. Lately, where I see Willie Mack the most is working with JCW. But I think he does some stuff with Ring of Honor as well. He stays busy. The guy is fantastic. And I know from experience, whether it be in Southern California or down in Tijuana, Willie Mack is so over. It's insane how good he is at getting a crowd to respond to him. And if you know much about Mexican culture, Willie Mack being over down there is kind of surprising. And I'm here for it, man. I love Willie Mack, and every time he's in TJ, he kills it. So nothing but the best for Willie Mack. I would love to see him get some more opportunities down the road. And if it were with the NWA, I'd be all right with that too. I would love to see Willie Mack versus Mike Mondo. That would actually be really freaking good. Willie Mack is the number 2 babyface in Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Yeah. Samoa Joe was also NWA Premium Champion too. When you say Premium Champion, what do you mean? I'm not familiar with the Premium Champion. What are we talking about here? What promotion was that, Patrick? NWA Premium Champion. NWA Premium Champion. I'm looking it up on Cage Match. I'm not familiar with that title. Neither is Cage Match. You have to give me some context on that one. But anyways, let's talk about what's happening tonight on Power, because, of course, Power is the exclusive home for your NWA Pro Wrestling content every Tuesday. They do go live on Roku, like I said earlier on the show. Roku Sports, you could watch the NWA Power at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Eastern or 11 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports, which translates to 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Pacific on Roku Sports, or anytime on demand. Now, in this episode, we get our Women's World Champion, the Fighting Champion. She'll defend the title against the Queen City Killer, Clara Carter. And, of course, we know Tiffany Nieves has had Miss Starr in her corner now with Greta, the gargantuan. This title defense seems very suspect, and I don't feel like the Queen City Killer is definitely going to get a fair shot in this one. Nieves, to her credit, has defended the championship a total of 6 times. She's defended against Zyra at FWW, Shelly Benson in NWA Chicago, Taahine Tonga and LA Spooky 2 separate times at Dog Pound Championship Pro Wrestling, and against Aleah James and Sirena Vale for NWA Power. So of those matches, she has 2 title matches defended on Power, which means to the best of 7 series, she still has 5 more matches to go. The NWA has this weird thing where sometimes they will recognize title matches outside of Power. So perhaps maybe the Chicago title match might get consideration. But for the TV championship within the NWA, they have what's called the Lucky 7 series, and the champion who defends the title 7 times successfully. Now, that doesn't mean they have to win the match. They just don't lose the title. If they can do that 7 times, they are given a women or a world title match. And they have 2 TV titles, the men's division and the women's division. And right now, La Princesa, Tiffany Nieves, has 2 victories out of 7. And if she wins 5 more matches or has 5 more successful title defenses, she'll have an opportunity to challenge Natalia Markova for the Women's World Championship. Sorry, I needed some water. So after that match, and that might even be the main event. I haven't watched Power. You can also watch Power on demand anytime on Roku Sports on their on-demand section. We also have Big Strong Mims, former NWA National Champion, taking on the Pope. Now, the Pope made his return earlier this year, just a few months ago, back to the NWA. These 2 have unfinished business. At one point, they were a tag team. They worked together at the Crockett Cup. They worked together back at Hard Times 3, the one that I was at back in New Orleans. Not New Orleans, but Chalmette, Louisiana. And as Pope was kind of a mentor figure to Mims. Mims was new to the business. Mims made his rookie debut in 2019 with the NWA and was kind of a rudderless ship when he first broke in with the NWA. But under the guidance of the Pope, kind of started making his way, had some really good matches against Tyrus for the TV title, and had a pretty successful run up until partnering up with the Black Cheese when he won the TV title and then later winning the national championship. But the Pope, when the Pope returned, cost Mims the national champion, helped Mike Mondo win the title, And ever since, these two have been at odds. Which very interesting about that is the Pope was kind of treated as a babyface in his run with the NWA, and Mims recently was a heel, but it seems like these two positions have kind of reversed because, Mims was basically attacked by the Pope, and the Pope is now kind of more a heel than a babyface. So their unfinished business hopefully comes to an end tonight as Pope and Mims square off one-on-one in a match, and I think that should be good. Also in action will be the Holy Grail. That's EC3, Pretty Boy Smooth, and Pastor CeeLo. They take on the Drake cousins with Aron Stevens. Just a few weeks ago, it was Aron Stevens teaming up with Carson Bartholomew Drake, and they took a cheap shot on Pretty Boy Smooth, that loaded up glove that put the Holy Grail out of title contention. And Smooth has made it clear that he will be targeting Aron Stevens, and the Drake cousins. So this match should be interesting, and I'm sure it's going to get out of hand before it gets all resolved. And then also, what match it's going to be very interesting to see Daisy Kill, Alex Misery, and Joe Bravo in a triple threat match. Now, I get it. Joe Bravo is new to the NWA, but in no stretch of the imagination is he a rookie. Bravo is a multi-time champion for both the World Wrestling Council and IWA Puerto Rico. Those are the two big wrestling promotions that are on the Puerto Rico island. Bravo has had matches previously against Misery's legendary Puerto Rican father, Apolo. The dude is a made guy on the island, but he's getting the opportunity to come and see what he can do here in the NWA. And I don't have a problem with a world championship caliber athlete coming to the NWA. We'll see what kind of trouble Bravo is going to provide for Daisy Kill, who's desperate in need of some wins, and Alex Misery, who, well, he's lost, but he's always puts on one of the best matches when he wrestles. So it'll be fun to see. Double D says Daisy Kill has put on some muscle. He looks great, man. I've always liked Daisy Kill. I've always thought he could have been used a little bit different. Putting him in a tag team with Talos, again, wasn't horrible, but we never got to see Daisy get his just desserts. So I would like to see Daisy get a run at the TV title. Maybe he could win the title after Mondo goes through his Lucky 7 series, but we'll see. That's what I was thinking, Shogun, is maybe that was the 0-1 title. But even then, Samoa Joe didn't hold that title. Samoa Joe only held the tag team titles in 0-1. Let me see here. Hold on a second. That was a mistake. If we go to Samoa Joe's title histories, currently he is your AEW World Champion and the AEW Trios Champion, but he held the Intercontinental Champion with Keiji Sakota. He was a UPW Heavyweight Champion. He held the GWA. I don't even know what that is. He was an ROH World Champion, ROH Pure Champion, TNA X Division Champion, some 5 times. He held the tag titles. He held the TNA World Tag Team Championship with Magnus 2 times. No, he actually held the title by himself. Remember, he won the title. I'm trying to think who he beat for that. I'll look it up. That's what I do. Let's see. Interesting. They don't list it. Huh. Oh, okay. Yeah. So he won the titles against, I don't even know how that worked. Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle defeated Team 3D. They won the titles. Oh, yeah, that's right. And then TNA did the angle where they had the TNA World title, the IWGP third belt, the TNA X Division title, and the tag team titles all on the line. And Kurt Angle won. So he got the tag titles and the X Division title. It was bizarre. But no, he never held the premium title. That's not something that he had. And that premium title was a 0-1. If it's the same one that he's just thinking of, was a 0-1 championship. But that was not him. Back to Samoa Joe. Again, won the Pro Wrestling Noah tag team titles with Nick Aldis, the TNA TV title, the X Division title, the NXT championships, WWE US title, the AEW TNT title twice, the ROH TV title, and the 2-time AEW World title. And then I guess in terms of tournaments, what tournaments did he win? The Owen Hart. He competed in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. He won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I think he teamed with Finn Balor for that. The Wild Card Tag Team Tournament, the Maximum Impact Tournament, the Turkey Bowl, the Gauntlet for the Gold, the Tag Team Tournament in AAA. Wait, what? Did he really? I never knew he wrestled in AAA. He won the 2004 IWA Revolution Strong Style Tournament. He was in the Fire Festival tournament for the 0-1, but I don't think he ever won it. Anyway, I never knew Samoa Joe worked for AAA. That's funny. Should the NWA do a show that has the territories represented? Patrick, absolutely they should. They had a show that would have been perfect to do that. They could have done that with NWA USA, but they never did. And I feel like that was a missed opportunity. He beat the Dudleys by himself. Okay. And then Hisa says Sekimoto and Akebono were the only guys to hold the premium title. And that premium title was a beautiful looking belt. I remember the evil Fred Richards took that to Japan. And that was supposed to be like a peace offering between the NWA and 0-1 after the whole Sheik incident. But then they still left the NWA. Patrick, I don't think he ever held that title. And I don't see it on Cage Match. And I don't mean any disrespect at all, Patrick. But he says literally... I would call him a reliable source. Like his whole website is dedicated to tracking the title histories. I think he would know. And if he's saying no, I'm going to agree with him. So, I mean, that's this week's Power. Of course, it's all locked and loaded. It's going to be a good night for pro wrestling. If you're a fan of the NWA, I definitely think the show that you're going to want to check out, of course, the title match, Mims and Pope, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, the triple threat match, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. The Drakes versus the Holy Grail is going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good show. I haven't watched it yet. I will probably check it out later tonight. But, yeah, I'm excited to see it. And, again, fun activities to do before Christmas Eve. And I'm still getting it over on TikTok. WWE and AEW fan says, you look like KO, KO's twin. I get that a lot. Oh, you want to talk about Joseph Samil? You want to talk about Joe? Well, I mean, look, it's going to take longer than 10 minutes to go into detail, but basically the Sheik was in fact promised by joining the NWA, was promised that he would get a run with the World's Heavyweight Championship. The NWA kind of reneged on that deal. And they eventually got the belt to him. And he was expecting a long-term run with it. He got like a couple months. And he was scheduled. So Scrap Iron Adam Pearce was NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. He legitimately got injured during a match with Colt Cabana. He was going to step down for a while. He had a serious shoulder neck injury. It happened during a pile driver on the the ring apron. It looked pretty bad. I was there live, plus watching it later on replay. You could see it did not bode well for him. Having known Adam Pearce and having hung out with Adam Pearce, I talked to him at a show that he was supposed to be at, but was unable to compete. Colt Cabana, who was the NWA World Champion, by defeating Adam Pearce. And in real life, Colt and Adam were very good friends. I don't know if they're still good friends, but at the time they were still good friends. Colt was defending the title one night, and my now wife, then girlfriend, and Adam all went out to dinner during that title match, and apparently he was hurt. He was legitimately hurt. He told me he was hurt. That's the storyline that they were going with. So I don't have any reason to believe that wasn't 100% legitimate and the case. Colt takes the title. Colt was promised a long run with the world title. He was expecting to have that title for a year, and they pulled the rug right out underneath him and said, nope, you're going to drop the title to the Sheik. The Sheik felt that Adam Pearce refused to do the job to him, so took that personally. And then when the Sheik had the title, he started doing some matches in 0-1 as the world's heavyweight champion, even out briefly unifying the 0-1 title, which they were calling the AWA World Championship, which had nothing to do with the original AWA and everything to do with the imposter AWA. And he was the NWA World Champion and the fake AWA champion. And that was kind of a cool moment. And it was a big deal for him, but he refused to do business with the NWA when they wanted him to drop the belt. In fact, the NWA did an annual anniversary show. Not anniversary show, excuse me. They did the Ohio State Fair. They would bring the NWA there. And in years prior, they had some big time matches, and they were supposed to have Adam Pearce versus the Sheik. Now, both these guys did not like each other. And it was kind of they had some legit heat. And the Sheik said, I'm not going to defend the title. I'm already booked elsewhere. Which, whether he was or not, this was an NWA promoted event, and he is the world champion. So either he could honor the commitment and come defend the title for the NWA, or take the booking that he had, but relinquish the world heavyweight title. He decided to do neither. He didn't even make the international booking that he said he had. There's no proof that he actually wrestled the same day as the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. So the NWA stripped him of the title, but he never returned the championship. He claimed that he owned that title and that he had receipts for it, but that wasn't true. Knowing the people that I know, he was fabricating. Now, was he owed money by some people within the NWA? Yes. He wasn't owed an NWA World Championship, and he literally took that title, and he said he was giving it to 0-1. Didn't make any sense. And that caused a lot of animosity between him and the rest of the NWA, and eventually it led to his promotion being withdrawn from the National Wrestling Alliance. And at one point, they even tried to work with him down the road when the NWA Pro Wrestling Group here in Southern California started TV. They brought him in, and he attacked Joey Ryan and was trying to set up a match between Adam Pearce and the Sheik, but it never came to fruition because, again, the animosity and everything else. And at one point, he had put that title on eBay and received a cease and desist from Billy Corgan and the Lightning One era NWA, and he took the title off. I think right now, the last time I saw the title that he stole was in Japan. In fact, I had a friend who was in Japan and sent me a photo of the 10 pounds of gold at a wrestling store. And it was it was the title that they built and that made beautiful looking championship belt. In the meantime, when Pearce regained the title, he actually had the TNA version of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. That was part of his promise as champion, is that he got to keep that belt. So they used that belt until the NWA had a new belt constructed with All-Star Championship belts, which was like a bigger version of the 10 pounds of gold. With a lot more red on the title belt. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the original. It wasn't the original concept. And then eventually, when he left the NWA, the NWA under the attorney whose name? Robert, not Trowbridge, not Bob Trowbridge, but the attorney. God, I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, well, Craig Classic just did whatever the Sheik told him to do. And again, stole the title. Straight out stole the belt. That's why he got blackballed by the NWA. They never used him again. And nobody really used him in pro wrestling. He went to 0-1 and did like 5 matches, and then that was it. He was out of business. But anyways, once the new ownership took over for the NWA, they built new belts with I can't remember the company, Leather Rebel. They made a new NWA World title, and I think they sold off the All-Star Championship belt. Bruce Tharp. Took me a while to get there. So, and then, so the title was, both those titles were stolen by the Sheik and then also by Craig Classic, and that's why there was heat with Joseph. Yeah, Patrick, they do use that title in 0-1, but 0-1 never owned that belt. They never paid for it. The NWA paid for that belt. And that's what's so crazy about it, because Craig Classic said he was going to take the belt back to New Japan Pro Wrestling and present it to them, and they didn't even want it. The Cloverleaf title, which is such an ugly belt, but I love it. And I wish it was the World Junior Heavyweight title today. I love that belt so much. But no, that he stole it. He was a thief. And I'm saying that because I was there. I mean, I wasn't there, but I heard the conversations, not just from people on the West Coast, but people on the East Coast, people in the South, people in Texas. I know what happened. And anytime I hear Craig Classic or Sheik try to defend their actions, it's like, okay, 2 wrongs don't make a right. If somebody owed you money, cool, you should file a lawsuit. You should get an injunction against them. You should not steal property that doesn't belong to you. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is, I think, week 51 of the pre-party in 2025. It's been such a great time. I do appreciate you guys being a part of my Tuesdays, and I'm glad to be a part of your Tuesdays. I hope that you enjoy the NWA talk. I hope you've enjoyed the NWA community. The community never stops. If you head to our Discord, which the links are in the video description over here on YouTube, we have a Discord server at the Alliance blog where we're talking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week about the NWA and NWA related content. We post matches, we post results, we post articles, we post our thoughts, opinions, and we talk about power. We talk about all things NWA. If you're not already a part of this community, you should be a part of it. It's fun. And I do appreciate you guys being a part of this. Again, Christmas is all about giving and receiving, and well, I mean, that's maybe what it's become. But I'm appreciative of you guys hanging out with us each and every Tuesday. Hey, what's going on, Tom Nolan? I appreciate you guys hanging out with us each and every Tuesday. It's honestly one of my favorite things to do is talk about the pro wrestling, and you guys being here is a lot of fun. So thank you. That's a great gift to me. If you like the show, make sure you subscribe. Patrick, I am in the chat sometimes. I'm the Alliance blog. That's me. I am the Alliance blog. You're all part of me. That sounds so weird. The Alliance blog is Jay, and Jay is the Alliance blog. So when you talk to me in the chat, that's me, the Alliance blog. So we'll be back next Tuesday after Christmas, and hopefully you guys will have a wonderful holiday season with your family. I hope you have just the best time with your loved ones, and you get a lot of great food and a lot of great gifts. And we'll be back next Tuesday to wrap up the year. It'll be the last Alliance blog of the year, and I think that's pretty cool. The pre-party, I should say. So until next time, we will see you at the matches. Good night now. Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. for NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.